Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Pigskin Addicts. Back again with another video. So everybody, come on in, come on in, come on in. We got a lot to talk about. We seen over the weekend very shocking news to me, right? It might not have been shocking to some, but it was shocking to me. The Chargers decided to restructure, kick the can down the road on Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa's contracts. They had just previously done that in the week with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. So you're looking at four guys who are on contract restructures for 2023. Right now, it brings down their cap hits. We know this, but like I've explained several times, this is literally kicking the can down the road. And the Chargers are in a very precarious position as far as the 2024 salary cap goes. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give my thoughts. And yeah, this should be a good one. So the Chargers announced on Friday they restructured the contracts, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, right? And these were two guys that I was against restructuring. Just because of injury history, a little bit with age with Khalil Mack, right? We've seen he's declining a little bit. I think the same could be said about Joey Bosa based off of all of his various injuries that he's had over his career. It's not great, right? This doesn't look great. So let's get into the numbers here. I want to break it down for everybody so we can kind of understand how much money the Chargers are saving and why it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense once you understand it. All right, so let's get into Khalil Mack's contract first. So before the restructure, Khalil Mack had a $27 million cap hit for 2023, right? That was something that I talked about. It was too much. So with the restructure, the Chargers brought that cap hit down to 16 million, right? So that is more or less around the number where you would want a guy like Khalil Mack at this point in his career, right? That is a good cap hit for this season. But when you look at it, again, this is kicking the can down the road. Khalil Mack's cap hit for 2024 is $38.5 million. Ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So when you're looking at the long-term prospects of having a Khalil Mack on your team, it is going to cost you almost $40 million, right? And unless he has a resurgent year, the Chargers, there's no way that they're going to pay this, right? There's no way they'll pay this. They're going to have a huge decision to make after the 2023 season, right? We get that. We understand that. Now, when you look at Bosa's contract, Bosa had kind of a similar type of contract. His had more guaranteed money in it, though. $38 million was his cap hit before the restructure. Now, after the restructure, it is a $15 million cap hit. And again with him, right, his 2024 cap hit is $32.9 million. So almost $33 million, right? So you're looking at over $70 million in cap hit as far as these two guys go in 2024, right? That's what you're looking at if you're looking at having these guys on the roster past 2023. So it's going to be a very interesting time once the 2023 season ends. Right now, we have a whole season to play, right? I'm going to be rooting for them, and this is really a Super Bowl or bust year, right? The Chargers, this is an all-in year. Everybody was talking about it last year. This literally is an all-in year. This is all-in. You can't get more all-in than this. I feel that Tom Telesco and Brandon Staley, I feel that they feel the writing is on the wall. Because there's no way you would make all of these irrational decisions like this if the writing wasn't on the wall. I think that they feel this is our last hurrah. We're going to sign our guys, right? We're going to make sure that we have our guys this year, and we're going to go for it. So the Chargers are taking a big risk. They're taking a huge risk. And number one, the biggest reason why I feel this is a huge risk is look no further to last year and all of the injury issues, right? If the injury bug, right, rears his ugly head again on this team in 2023, this is going to be a disaster. The Chargers will be, they'll be at a point where they are selling guys off at the trade deadline. I honestly think so. I think that they would have to start shedding salary at the trade deadline in 2023 if the injury bug hits them, right? And if they know that they are not going to be able to compete in the playoffs, right? Or maybe they might get in, maybe they might not. I think the Chargers will start selling assets off because that's really the only option that you have, right? You can't continue to carry these guys into 2024 knowing that you won't even make the playoffs in 2023, right? That would be a disaster. That could possibly be a huge disaster. So the Chargers are betting huge on this. This is a very, very risky gamble, right? This is something, if I was GM, I wouldn't do this. I definitely wouldn't do this. I would have to, I would have to cut my losses, right, with some of these guys. Or I have to let some of these guys go. As tough as it is, I would have to let some of these guys go so that way I can free up my books for 2024 and beyond, right? If you're going to have Justin Herbert as your quarterback, you're going to have a legitimate shot to compete every single season, right? So you don't want to overplay your hand in any one season. And I think this is what the Chargers are doing now. They're overplaying their hand, and things can get very, very, very ugly very quickly here. So to get back to the contract situation here, I went over the numbers, right? I went over their cap hits for 2023 and 2024. Now, here is the kicker in all of this, right? The Chargers are going to have a lot of trouble getting rid of these guys, right? Even if it's a Mike Williams and a Keenan Allen as well, too, right? All four, stars who have been restructured. If one of these guys are, is not living up to expectation, again, if the injury bug comes up, it's going to be tough to get rid of them. When you look at Khalil Mack and you look at Joey Bosa, you look at their dead cap hits, right? And the dead cap happens if the Chargers cut them or trade them, right? That dead cap gets accrued and it goes against the salary cap. So that's less salary cap money that you have, right? So when you look at 2024, right? Joey Bosa, $22 million dead cap hit. That's how much it would cost the Chargers in salary cap room to get rid of him, right? And for Khalil Mack, it is $15 million. So if both of these guys, let's just hypothetically say both of these guys get injured, or both of these guys are clearly washed and are not playing, nowhere near the level that they have played in their careers, and the Chargers want to move on from both of them, it is going to cost you $37 million in salary cap space to get rid of both of these guys. That's ridiculous, right? And when you're a team who accrues big dead cap hits and things like that, you're in a rebuilding mode. And that's what I'm afraid that the Chargers are heading towards, right? Again, they have 1 year to get this done. They have 1 year to win the Super Bowl. 2023 is the Super Bowl window. They have 1 year to do it. And if they don't do it, then they could really be heading towards a rebuild. This is what it looks like, right? Being able to accrue a huge dead cap hit for a year or so, then being able to move on and then being able to rebuild. It's kind of what the Eagles did after the Carson Wentz trade. They acquired a huge dead cap hit. That's what, they had drafted Jalen Hurts back then in the second round, right? And it worked out for them, but it worked out for them because Howie Roseman knows what he's doing. Tom Telesco clearly doesn't know what he's doing. He is not a Super Bowl GM, right? And he doesn't build teams the way that they should be built, right, from the inside out. He just doesn't do it. He hasn't done it his entire stint with the Chargers. So this is something to worry about. If the Chargers get into a rebuilding phase, things can get ugly. And then you want to talk about the Justin Herbert contract and all of that stuff. And people are, automatically, going there with the Justin Herbert contract. If the Chargers are in the rebuilding mode, I don't expect Justin Herbert to sign any contract. I honestly don't. I really don't. I don't expect him to sign the contract. I don't expect him to lock in with a team that is in rebuilding mode that is going to waste the prime of his career. I just don't see it. I could be wrong, but I just don't see. The Chargers are going to have to prove to Herbert that they can put pieces around him to win and to compete in the AFC West and in the AFC in general. They're going to have to show Herbert that. I just don't think he blindly signs a contract. I just don't think that. He's a lot smarter than that. He's way more calculated than that. I don't see it. I just don't see it. The Chargers are going to have to do right by him before he signs his name on the dotted line, because what they have showed so far is that they cannot consistently build a good team around him, right? On either side of the ball, offense, defense, coaching is a question, right? Everything has not been where it should be when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert. So I really question whether or not he will sign a long-term deal with the Chargers, right? And that's yet to be seen. But just as I bring this stuff up here, right, you can understand why somebody like that really wouldn't want to commit, right? You want to see how, the chips fall first before you really start to, commit to the Chargers and put all of your eggs in one basket, right? I think he sits back and watches what goes on here the next, 16 months or whatever, right? That's pretty much where the Chargers are going to be at, as far as whether we know they are really getting into a rebuilding phase. And you don't want to get into a rebuilding phase with one of the top quarterbacks in the league. You just don't want to do that. And I'm afraid that's where the Chargers are headed. So, hey, it is what it is, right? So with the contract restructures, right, that is designed to create cap space, right? And it's designed to create cap space just for the interim, right? Pretty much the season that you're in, that's really the only time it creates cap space. It doesn't give you long-term cap relief. Just like I said, it's kicking the can down the road, and that's what it is. So with all of the restructures, the Chargers only have $19 million in total cap space. Now, if you go on Twitter and if you look at Daniel Popper's Twitter, right, the beat reporter, right, and I don't care what you think about him and all that stuff, but he has a spreadsheet on his Twitter. He just posted it. I can't remember how long ago it was, but he has a spreadsheet on there that breaks down exactly how much real cap space the Chargers have, right? So this $19 million in cap space is total cap space. It's total cap space for the season. It's total cap space for the 2023 draft class as well, too, right? So when you look at the Chargers and their 7 picks, they are, budgeted out, for slots, right? That's how the rookie pay scale works. And, the guys who are drafted, first round, second round, right, they get a certain amount of money. That's already budgeted out. That's about $8 million, right? So when you take away from that, it's about $8 million. And then there's some kind of adjustments that they get credit for and stuff like that. So when you take it away, the Chargers only have about $12 million in real cap space to actually spend on free agents and stuff like that, right? Now, if they make the cut with Matt Filer, if they make the cut with Dustin Hopkins, they will have a little bit more space, but the cap space is not anything to, really look at and say, man, we can really upgrade our team here. The Chargers can only really go after veterans, right? After veterans who are cheaper veterans, guys who maybe want to be on prove-it deals, 1-year prove-it deals. That's really the only market that the Chargers have in free agency. Any type of top free agents, they cannot afford them. They can't. They just can't afford them. They don't have that much money. They don't have that much cap space. Then there is some money budgeted for like emergency in-season spending, right? So if the Chargers have to go out and they have to sign, an emergency kicker, right? They have to go out and sign an emergency punter or, any type of position, right? That is depleted and they need somebody like right away. There's money budgeted in that as well, too. And that will not be spent in free agency. So when you look at the total amount that they have to spend, it's about $12 million right now. Now, that could increase a little bit, I think, by $4 or $5 million, right, if they cut the Matt Fowler and if they cut Dustin Hopkins as well, too. But they still don't have a lot of money to go out and get premium free agents. So what does this mean? This puts a lot of emphasis on the 2023 draft, right? I've done a lot of videos about prospects and things like that. I'm going to keep doing those videos. But now I think you're really in a position now. I feel you probably have to get a wide receiver at this point right now. I was looking towards edge and all of that stuff, but I think at this point right now you need a wide receiver just because, you're looking at guys, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, those guys are on huge inflated contracts and their cap numbers for 2024 are huge. So, both of those guys could potentially be in the market to be cut or, maybe traded or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into this, right? So I'm looking at a wide receiver now in the first round now that all of this has come out, right? This is why the offseason is so important. Things happen on a day-to-day basis, right? And you kind of have to just adjust as they go. So I'm looking at a wide receiver now in the 2023 draft, right? But no matter who they draft, this has to be the strongest draft class that the Chargers have ever had. It has to be. There's no other options. If it's not one of the strongest draft classes that they've ever had, again, the Chargers are inching their way into rebuilding mode. And this could be a disaster. This could be a disaster season. A few injuries, and this thing is off the rails, man. It's off the rails, and you're looking at a 5 to 6 win season. Off the rails, completely off the rails. So I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to be as positive as I can, right? And people call me a pessimist and all that stuff, and it's fine. But when you look at the reality of this, right, this is the Super Bowl window, right? This is the Super Bowl window. 2023 is the Super Bowl window. This is all in. you had guys on the roster coming back from injuries, right? J.C. Jackson, Austin Johnson, Otito, right? Those guys are coming back from huge knee injuries, right? So we don't know how they're going to play, right? We don't know if health is going to be on their side, right? We don't know about the other players, right? If health is going to be on their side. The Chargers are also in line to possibly lose Trey Pipkins, Drew Tranquil, some of these key free agents that I think the Chargers should re-sign. When you're looking at the salary cap space, that might be all the money that they have to do is re-sign our own free agents, as opposed to going out and signing other guys. But when you're looking at this thing from a very totalitarian view, you're looking at it and you're saying, damn, they got to win right now. And that's what I'm saying. The Chargers have to win right now. And as a fan, am I worried? Hell yeah, I am. Hell yeah. But as a content creator here on YouTube, I think 2023 is going to be a fire-ass year. And I can't wait. I can't wait to cover all the games. I can't wait to cover everything, because everything is going to mean so much more. If we thought, the games, the plays, the injuries, if we thought that it meant a lot last year, it's going to mean 10 times more this year. The Chargers have really boxed themselves into a corner here, and there's no relief coming soon. There's no relief coming. The Chargers are going to have to make decisions in 2024, right? And even if the Chargers do win the Super Bowl in 2023, they're still going to have to make those same decisions in 2024. They have boxed themselves into a corner. So again, I think Staley, I think Telesco, I think they see the writing on the wall. I think they want to go out with the bang. I think they want to go out with their guys. I think they want to go out and do it their way, as opposed to adjusting and making, the adjustments that they have to make to the roster, the scheme, all of those type of things. They want their guys. They want to go out with the bang, and they want to do it their way, right? Which is fine, but it's really going to set the Chargers back if they don't have any type of success this year. It really is. And I'm worried about that as a fan. But again, as a content creator, it's going to be good content. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Can't wait to see what the draft looks like. I can't wait to see if the Chargers have learned from some of their previous draft mistakes over the past few years, right? They got to get depth in this draft. You got to get at least 5 guys in this draft that can go out and contribute. That's really where it's at right now. You got to get at least 5 guys, at least. Normally, you want to draft 2 to 3 guys. Now, the Chargers need 5 guys. They need at least 5 guys that are going to come in and have some type of long-term contribution to this team. That's what's going to have to happen in this draft. So it's going to be interesting. I just wanted to come on here and break down the restructures. I was shocked when it happened. I didn't think that it was going to happen, but it did. And here we are. So that is all I got for this one, guys. I'll definitely be back again with more content. I just wanted to break this down and really talk about what was going on with the restructures and, how the chips fall afterwards, right? We'll see. There's still a lot to be determined as far as free agency and the draft and things like that. But we'll see what happens going forward. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing down below and hit that bell notification as well, too, so YouTube notifies you when I drop a video. And that's all I got for this one. So until next time.